If you're the parent of a teenager, I'm sure you've experienced some difficult challenges or times with that. So today we're going to talk about how to deal with a difficult teen. And we're actually doing two parts. The first part will be about building a relationship with them, and the second part will be about setting boundaries. Today we're going to talk about how to deal with a difficult teenager. Being a parent can be one of the most rewarding things a person can ever do, but it can also be one of the most challenging things. And me and my wife have experienced both of that. As a result of one of our teenagers and some of the challenges that we had with her, we decided to open a residential treatment center for teen girls, which we opened about 10 years ago. And so we've had a lot of experience over the last few years of working with parents who have daughters that are in one way or another out of control in their life, making choices that are putting themselves at risk and sometimes other people at risk. So one of the things that I've learned through this, and learned that initially with their own child, is that we can't control our children. All we can do is influence them and try to help them be at a place where they want to make good choices in their life. We did another video where we talked about overcoming failure in our life, and one of the things that I know about this life experience is that we are here to learn and to grow and to become all that we can be. And in order to do that, though, we're going to make mistakes. There have to be choices that we make that are failures. And it's through those failures and those choices that we have the opportunity to learn about what works and what doesn't work. And one of the things that does work as a parent is having a healthy or a positive relationship with our children. And so sometimes if we get to a place with our children or our teenagers where the relationship is not going very well, where there isn't much respect or trust in the relationship, if you have a teen who does not follow your rules or instruction, then oftentimes the more that we try to control our teen, the more resistance that we're going to experience. And so what we want to talk about on today's video is what we can do to work on improving that relationship and increasing the trust. We will do a follow-up video that will talk more about boundaries and how we can use boundaries in our relationship with our teens. So in order to have a healthy, positive relationship with our teens, it's just like any other relationship. So first of all, we need to see the other person as a person. Oftentimes we get to a place in our relationship where there is so much conflict that whenever we think about them or are around them, we're triggered all of the time, and all we focus on is the negative and what's not working. And in fact, we spend most of our time focusing on correcting what is not working. There's a really good book that you may want to read that explains this in much more detail. The book is called Anatomy of Peace, and I would recommend that to you if you have a teen son or daughter and that you're having struggles with. And they talk about, in that book, the change pyramid. And the very top part of that pyramid is correcting what is going wrong. And the rest of the pyramid is all ideas and things that we can do to strengthen the relationship. And that's the way that our time together ought to be, is that the very top part, so the smallest part of the pyramid, should be focused on what's not working. But the majority of our relationship should be on what is working or what is going right. And so in order to do that, to have a relationship with anybody, that's usually built on mutual respect. It's built on trust. It's built on common interests. And oftentimes we see our children as being different than us. And as our children enter their teen years, oftentimes they become involved in things that we as parents aren't interested in. And as a result, that relationship begins to break down. So one of the things that we can do as our children grow and mature, and if we have children that are already teens, and we don't know them very well, we can do what Stephen Covey talks about in 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, which is seek first to understand, then to be understood. So we can spend more time getting to know our children, finding out what they're interested in, why they are interested in those things, and maybe taking more of an interest ourselves into the things that they enjoy. As we do that, we are naturally going to grow closer together. If we have something of common interest, our children are going to want to spend more time with us. They may find out that we are a little different than they think that we are. So as we're interested in them, they may get to know us better and become more interested in us. They may have more respect for our thoughts and ideas as we show respect for them. And we can both grow and benefit from that relationship. And as we get to know each other better and begin to like each other more, the respect will automatically grow and the desire to spend time together will increase. If we see the other person as the problem, if we see them as an object, then we're either going to be spending our time, again, trying to fix them or to change them, which will create more resistance, or we're going to want to avoid them. And oftentimes that's what happens with teenagers is they don't enjoy being around parents because whenever they're around us, all we are doing is complaining, criticizing, correcting, and they would much rather be with their friends who accept them for who they are. So again, this video is all about what we can do to build and strengthen that relationship. It's not really about correcting the behaviors that they may be doing that are not in their self-interest and that you would like them to change. This is about just building the relationship so that we have more influence over them and hopefully creating an environment and a relationship where they will respect us and then want to listen to us and try or experiment with some of the things that we are encouraging or suggesting them to do in their life. So this works in all relationships, not just with teenagers, but it works with our younger kids. It will work with our spouse. It will work with co-workers, neighbors, beginning to see them as people, not as objects. And the more we get to know a person, we generally find out that we have more things in common and more alike than we do different. So if you have a teen that you're struggling with right now, then I'd encourage you to try and find some time to get to know them better, take an interest in them and what they're doing, a genuine interest, and watch and see what happens. See if the dynamics of the relationship don't change and see if the behaviors of your child don't begin to change and that they may begin to want to spend more time with you and with the family, and ultimately both of you will come out with having a healthier, happier relationship and both of you getting more out of life that you want rather than what you don't want. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video and found it helpful in learning ways to build your relationship and have more influence with your teen. In our next video, we're going to talk about how to set boundaries in creating an environment to help them learn and grow and succeed.